All right, we're gonna roll this thing along, and your next guest, or your next comic, this guy is, again, he's been touring all over Western Canada, tearing it up everywhere he goes. He's here for you right now. It's here for Mr. Fred Kerr!
Thanks, Dave. So my girlfriend's teenage daughter asked us to guess what her friend Chad has just texted to her. I just said, please God, please not a dick pic. And she rolls her eyes, oh, not in the morning. There are rules for dick pics. Discerning dick documentarians don't display dongs before dusk. In the world of the cock close-up, there's a cocktail hour. Well, it is 5 o'clock, Chad. Go ahead and jam that phone down your pants. Parenting can be frustrating, folks, as can learning to play golf. As a rookie golfer, I hit maybe 5% of my golf shots the way I want. Those are still better odds than parenting. And we know this because even parents who hit their kids 100% of the time still report being incredibly frustrated. My own frustrated parents signed me up for Wolf Cubs. Don't know if you know this organization. Cubs are boys between the ages of 8 and 10 years old who just can't do sports. I know it's got to be shocking to hear that chiseled athlete you see tonight was not always so sporty, but I'm afraid it's true, folks. Growing up, every gym class was as awkward for me as awkward as Justin Trudeau would feel if he were trapped in a chess club meeting for brain surgeons. Realizing that my athletic ability doomed my own kids to become Cubs, I became a Cub leader mostly out of guilt. The Cub organization does a superb job stopping creepy adults from becoming leaders. They've been a lot less successful preventing evil kids from becoming Cubs. A lot of these little bastards should have just been tasered. But the Cub experience did reinforce something I've always been very proud of, folks, and that is that I'm the opposite of a pedophile. I can't fucking stand other people's kids. Thanks for that. I figured that out probably 20 years ago. Went for dinner at a friend's house, walk in the kitchen, his children are smashing Tonka trucks through the drywall. Then they pitch steak knives at each other, and the survivors kind of staggered outside bleeding, where they finished each other off with logs to the head. And my friend had no fucks to give. He says to me, Fred, we can stop them, sure we could, we can intervene. But if we intervene, how do they learn? How do they learn? And I thought but did not say, when their skulls are caved in and their little brains turn to raspberry jam, how do they learn? At dessert, the little darlings stripped off all their clothes, sprayed themselves with chocolate sauce, and turned their dad's white dress shirt into a slip and slide while he was wearing it. It wasn't the only clothing destroyed, folks. My shirt was also wrecked by blood spurting out the corner of my mouth as I bit my tongue for 2 solid hours. Obviously, I don't see this family anymore for psychiatric reasons. But 20 years later, I still wake up in the night screaming. These little bastards gave me PTSD. Those kids were my Afghanistan. I have said Vietnam, folks, but you're a young-looking crowd. Speaking of youth, you might have heard that in these unprecedented times, there's been a global shortage of sperm donors, which has led some dishonest fertility doctors to start to use their own semen to fertilize patients' eggs. True story, you can look this up, happens all over the world. I guess these clowns figure that the victims should just be grateful to have a doctor in the family. All right then. Anyway, so some of them get caught. Some of them are getting caught, right? And one of them is being sued for negligence, breach of trust, and my personal favorite, he's being sued for cavalier use of sperm. Gentlemen, if we're honest, how many of us have not occasionally been a little cavalier with our sperm? Right? I think about my own lifetime allocation of the baby powder, and apart from the 3 kids, mostly pretty cavalier. You know, folks, in these unprecedented times, A man's thoughts turn to some of the really big questions, right? Like, why in God's name does every male porn star have to have an enormous baby arm in his pants? Who's this for? Look, we men are depressed enough that for many of us, sex amounts to occasionally being alone with our thoughts. Maybe lubricated with our own lonely tears. We don't need to be body shamed by these giant porn schlongs. Right at the tender moment when we're just trying to get, maybe a little cavalier with our sperm. My advice then to you youngsters, just maybe taking those first tentative steps on your porn pilgrimage, switch to Japanese. Now hear me out, folks. With J-porn, the actresses are super attractive, and the male actors are, how would I put this, not intimidating. Speaking of intimidation, I'll leave you with one final thought. You might have heard what happened at the Tim Hortons in Langley, British Columbia. Anybody see that? I can reenact it for those who missed it, don't worry. A woman storms into the Tim Hortons in Langley, demanding to use the washroom. And she's so rude, the staff refuse. So to retaliate, she takes a dump on the floor of the restaurant and then flings it at them. Yeah, true story. Now, fortunately for the person who said, "What?" there is a viral video of Tiger Trixie's testy, turd-tossing tirade at Tim's. When you watch that clip, as I urge you to do, you gotta respect this woman's talent, okay? Because in 8 seconds, she extrudes this log. She clips her off like a cigar cutter and just launches it. And look, as Calgarians, I know we've all seen pro cowboys achieve a lot less than that in 8 seconds at the greatest outdoor show on earth. Not only did this woman demonstrate impeccable sphincter control, but she did not throw like a girl. No, this lady flung around dunk like a coked up chimpanzee, playing shortstop. I'm Fred Kerr, that's my time, thank you.
Fred Kerr, ladies and gentlemen, keep going! All right. Well, we are there, folks. You guys having fun? Yeah. All right, before I move along, I just want to say real quick, let's give a big round of applause for the